This week, March 24th through March 30th, will be huge. We're talking about once in a lifetime huge. We've got Neptune entering Aries for the first time in over 150 years, bringing bold new dreams and spiritual awakening, and a powerful solar eclipse that is shaking up destiny itself. This isn't just another week of transits. This is a cosmic reset. And if you've been feeling the urge to step into a new version of yourself, the universe is handing you the keys. But how do you navigate these intense changes without feeling lost? Stay with me. I'm breaking it all down so you can harness this energy for transformation and stellar alignment. But first, thank you so much for joining me. I'm your intuitive astrologer, Brandy Kahn. I approach astrology from a psychological perspective due to my educational background in psychology. And as an evidential and trance medium, I don't just analyze planetary movements. I tune into their energy and I offer guidance from a deeply intuitive space. Please make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel and join me each week on this astro journey. Now, let's dive in. On Monday, March 24th, we will have the Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde at 4 degrees of Aries. Now, the Sun represents our identity, our sense of self and vitality, and Mercury is the planet of communication and how we process information. Mercury is retrograde from March 15th all the way through April 7th. And during this time, we are really invited to review, reflect, and reevaluate. Now, with this conjunction, Mercury will be cazimi, or in the heart of the sun, which means that the sun will have a purifying and an amplifying effect on Mercury. If that doesn't make sense to you, think about how sunlight has germicidal properties and it can eliminate bacteria and mold. It purifies and it cleanses. So, this conjunction can bring insight and clarity about issues or situations that you've been reviewing, or past experiences, or understanding why certain ways of communication don't work. And if you've been dealing with limiting patterns of thinking or speaking, this could be the aha moment when you're finally ready to release this pattern. And if you're the parent of a teenager, don't be surprised if they really open up and share their thoughts with you on this day. Keep an open mind and listen with acceptance. On Tuesday, March 25th, Mercury retrograde will be at 3 degrees of Aries and will sextile Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius. Mercury is the planet of communication and our thinking processes, and Pluto is the planet of power and transformation. This supportive aspect can really be about going deep into our thoughts and beliefs and transforming anything that really prevents us from being our best self. Now, this could be the day when you connect to the power of your words and communication, and you might be able to help someone completely shift their way of thinking or believing. Now, also, since Pluto is the god of the underworld and things that are hidden, this could be the day when you feel empowered to speak your truth and give voice to any concerns that you have felt the need to keep hidden. For parents, if your teenager or college student is working on a research paper or project, this is the ideal time for them to engage and make progress. On Thursday, March 27th, we will have two things happening. Venus will return to the sign of Pisces and conjunct Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. Venus is the planet of friendships, relationships, beauty, finances, and what we value. Remember, since February 5th, Venus has been in the sign of Aries, and this energy has invited us to think about what we need to be our best in our relationships and to prioritize that. But now, with Venus going back into Pisces, we are going to get a softer side of Venus that's really all about compassion, empathy, and forgiveness. And when I call forth the energy of Venus in Pisces and I asked how we could best use its energy, this is the message that came through. Use my energy to find the beauty in each other. You have the tendency to look forward in superficial things, without realizing that the beauty that lasts forever is in the love that you give to each other. Remember this quote during the time that Venus will be in Pisces from March 27th through April 30th. This conjunction of Venus with Neptune is the second meeting of these two planets. And so this means that this is going to be a part of a larger story for you that started back in early February with the first conjunction. So you can ask yourself, am I returning to a dream or a vision of what I want in my relationships, or the dream of having what I value most, or the dream of having financial abundance? Now, if so, this is when you really want to lean in and allow during this transit. With the other side of this transit, Neptune could potentially cloud or obscure things. So you want to make sure you keep yourself grounded and don't allow yourself to be swept away in your emotions. Parents, this is an ideal time for you to encourage your children to explore their artistic and musical talents or any form of creative or spiritual expression. On Saturday, March 29th, we will have a solar eclipse at 9 degrees of Aries. And this will be really influential for people with planets or angles around 9 degrees of the cardinal sign. So that's Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn. Now, when I connect with the energy of this eclipse, I'm shown through my sense of clairvoyance rays of light that are just barely peeking above the horizon. And there's the feeling of a new dawn or a new day. So, this is a fresh beginning that really feels destined. You will be starting a new cycle in the Aries part of your chart. And I need you to get really clear about what you want to create in that area of your life. So if Aries is in your fourth house of home and family, maybe you want to set the intention to use this energy to provide a way for you to move to a new home. Or if Aries is in your seventh house of relationships, you might want to use this energy to move to a serious level of commitment in your relationship. This eclipse is ruled by Mars in Cancer. So there could be a new beginning involving the themes of the sign of Cancer. So that could be home, family, ancestry, real estate. And I was also shown clairvoyantly a tarot card, the Seven of Wands. So there might be a situation where you feel like it's up to you to protect your home or to protect your family. Also, on Saturday, March 29th, Mercury will retrograde back into the waters of Pisces and conjunct Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. Remember, Mercury represents communication and our thinking processes. Traditionally, astrology teaches that Mercury is in detriment in the sign of Pisces. However, I'm going to give you an alternative perspective. As a medium, I'm able to connect to the energy of the planets. And when I connected to Mercury and Pisces, this is the message that I was given. I perform in a different way when in the sign of Pisces. I utilize the right side of the brain more than the left. Your society has deemed the creative and abstract as less desirable than ration and logic. So they have labeled the energy of Pisces as detrimental to my faculties. But in truth, it's just another facet of who I am. Shift your perspective to this powerful interpretation and value Mercury and Pisces for what it brings as far as creativity, spirituality, and unconditional love. When Mercury conjuncts Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces, it may heighten emotional sensitivity, intuition, and imagination. And with that, attention to detail may take a back seat. So if the lower side of this transit shows up for you, you might feel confused or like it's difficult to make a solid decision. So that's when I want you to lean into the insight that Mercury shared with us and approach things through the lens of your right brain instead of fighting to remain in the space of your left brain. Spend some time listening to music, making art, meditating, crafting, or writing poetry. And then when you honor the needs of Mercury as he is in Pisces, without insisting that he change, then clarity will come to you. And on Sunday, March 30th, this is huge. After 14 years, Neptune will leave the sign of Pisces. And I'll tell you why this is so monumental. Neptune is an outer planet, and the outer planets move incredibly slowly. It takes Neptune 165 years to complete a full cycle. So the last time that Neptune was in the sign of Aries was from 1862 through 1875. So Neptune will move into Aries, but will move back into Pisces at the end of October. In astrology, Neptune is the planet of transcendence, dreams, and ideals. And Neptune glamorizes aspects of the sign that it's located in. As a sign, Aries embodies the spirit of courage, independence, initiating, assertiveness, and boldness. And people who will feel this change the most will have planets or angles anywhere from 0 to 1 degrees of Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn. Now, this move of Neptune into Aries could signal a period where people are fighting for ideals and people are passionately pursuing avenues of activism and social change. It could also be that we as a society really step into owning our power instead of handing it over to those at the top. And we may also take more initiative when it comes to our spiritual paths and practices. But on the flip side, this could also be a time when people glamorize the idea of conflict and war. Now, the last time Neptune was in the sign of Aries, we had the Civil War in the United States. There was the glamorization of war during that time. And if you've seen Gone with the Wind, you will remember the scene where Charles Hamilton tells Rhett Butler that the South can lick the Yankees because they are gentlemen. And Charles Hamilton had overlooked the fact that the North was better equipped with factories, shipyards, and coal mines. His ideas were wrapped up in this fantasy or illusion of war. But I think that everybody hopes that that's not the way that we as a society today are going to choose to use the energy of Neptune in the sign of Aries. But I want you to check your chart for where Aries is located because that's where you will feel this change the most. So that wraps up our transits for this week. We've got a really big week ahead, but I know that each and every one of you, you're going to use this energy to do amazing things. So if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you back here again next week. Have a great week.